everybody see you winning, but your winning feels like a failure.
Yeah.
My winning, at times, it feels like I'm failing, even though on paper,
Right.
it could be considered winning.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Beyond the Rate. And I'm super excited, one, because it's the first episode, and two, because I have a very special guest here today. And we're going to be talking about a topic that I have personally ran into my own challenges with, and that's reinventing yourself. Not only as an entrepreneur, but in this mortgage business, lending business, I can say that the hardest part is that self-development and the challenge of looking at yourself inwards and figuring out what you need to do, what you need to adjust in every level of your career, both internally in business and in your personal life. So without further ado, please help me welcome my very good friend and business partner, Ainhoa Garcia. She is a very dear friend of mine, and I can't wait to have this sit down with her. Hi. We do kisses, hugs. Mwah. Thank you so much for being here today and for accepting this invitation. And for the record, we actually made multiple attempts, but we're finally here. We're finally doing this.
Yes.
But how are you doing now? How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and I'm very, very excited to see this idea of yours kind of take off.
Thank
and
you.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's definitely, I think we all have that desire, right? I think to share our stories and to tell the world what we've learned, the challenges that we face in every aspect of our lives. But one of the reasons that you're here today and why I wanted you to be here today is because me and you go to the beginning, right? The beginning of the career. Ainhoa started, what year did you become a real estate agent?
So I got my license December of 2016, but I started practicing real estate March of 2017.
Oh my goodness. And that's right around the time I used to be a real estate agent, by the way. And right around that time, I might have started a little bit before her. But the beautiful thing about both of our journeys is that even though obviously I went in a different direction, I feel like we've kind of grown together, right? We have not always been tied to the hip, but I think we share the same trajectory.
Yeah.
And every time that we've connected, I would definitely say that now is the closest we've ever been.
Yeah.
And I'm super blessed for that. And I'm happy for that. But the times that we've connected in the past, it was always like we were right there. We were going through some of the same issues, right? Whether it was understanding the business, learning the business, figuring out what to do next, learning how to scale, learning how to build. And it's been fun because I feel like even though, again, we each have our own vision, we've shared some of that
Drive.
that drive, those struggles.
We are immigrants. Let's start there.
Yes.
We're both immigrants.
Yeah.
Left our countries with many, many dreams and behind, leaving behind our families, what we knew as home, our financial stability, even if we were from, middle class or working class, I think they call it, right? Or even slightly below that in some instances, but very common and similar between the two of us, that drive to wanted to do more. And that's why we came to this country. So I think that's our first or common denominator.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that so much comes from that, right? Culture, right? Understanding and embracing our new home.
Language.
Language. Earlier I asked her how to pronounce a word and she's like, I have no idea. So we definitely, I think that's probably going to be the strongest bond we have. And I'm sure a lot of you guys that are watching and listening to this, you might relate.
Yeah.
But tell me a little bit about where you are now. And I want to get your insights on what this means, right? What reinventing yourself means, and how has this played a role in your life altogether, since from the very, very beginning, as far back as you want to go?
I was born 1990. No, we're not gonna go that far. But it is, when you mentioned that today's topic was reinventing yourself, the word change is the first thought I had. And we've mentioned that before, that change is inevitable. And it's, especially in our industry, is just a constant. And we're not shying away from change. We change what we knew as home and came to a country that we knew nothing about, including the language. That's a big change. So that was reinventing ourselves to start from the beginning. Even with our choice of careers or school studies, things that we have done in the past, that was the biggest change. And if I sit on the word change, I think it's for everybody. And if you don't reinvent yourself now, you would have an opportunity to reinvent yourself, especially in this industry in the very near future. Because, I was reading something today that said that change, some people change when they see the light, and some other change when they feel the heat. So I like to be in the first group. I like to see what it could be happening, and I like to prepare myself for that. I wouldn't wait to the very last minute to be pushed to a change that it might make me a lot more uncomfortable than if I had more time to prepare. So having a visionary approach, or wanted to see larger vision, I invited change it sooner. And I know that you're going to have to agree with me on that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Especially with
Absolutely.
changing our homes. So reinventing ourselves in this career is a constant. Everything changes, including the way we do business. AI, the way buyer's agency will potentially change in the near future. Just pretty much everything. And just like anything else, when you want to make a change, you have to put in a lot of work. And that sitting down, putting your thoughts together, and writing down that vision or what that change would entail, and what you need to bring, to learn, to read, to practice, to cry about, to discuss with peers that are going through the same thing. That collaborative spirit needs to come into. I do believe that we need to relay in each other and kind of checking with one another.
Yeah,
Tell you to during this time of change.
Yeah. And I think that for those of you that are watching us, there might be, in the beginning stage of your career, I would say that one of the conversations that I would encourage you to have with yourself is when you think about what this business can do for you, right? Obviously, when you're going into it, it's because you were attracted. And most of the time, obviously, who doesn't want success, right? Who doesn't want to feel accomplished and to reach those goals and be able to really see themselves fulfilled in anything that you do? But one of the things that I feel like personally helped me was being very realistic with what it was going to take. And I encourage you, if you are new or newer, or maybe you're reconnecting with this business, is to really understand, to Ainhoa's point, when you think of, hey, I want to be a top producer, right? I want to be on the top 1%. And I want to be like that guy, right? I think we all know that guy, or that gal, whatever it may be, whoever it may be, that's inspiring you. And when you think of that goal, and whether it is maybe closing your first 10 deals or maybe closing 500 deals, whatever it might look like for you, I always tell people, I'm like, make sure that when you're aiming, you understand what that version of you in the future needs to look like. And you need to make peace with that, because I'll give you an example, right? And I used this the other day in one of my meetings, talking to my sales team. And I was like, for the, maybe other ladies, and even men too, right? For a really long time, I was always like, man, why can't I be that girl with abs, right? Like, I would love to have abs. I would love to, just cut in every which way. Like, I love that. To me, it's so beautiful, like a body that's a fitness body, right? And I don't know. I think probably for the first, 20 years of my adult life, I always thought that's what I wanted. And I would beat myself up for not being this guy. I feel like I have no excuses, right? I can pay the gym membership. Why am I not that woman with abs? And then I realized that I don't want the life that comes with having abs, right? I don't see myself eating broccoli and chicken and protein shakes and
counting your
not having carbs. And, it works for some people and some people love it. I love food. I love carbs. And I came to terms with the fact that I'm never going to be that person that's going to be able to do and execute on the actions to have the results. So the same thing for you, right? If you see yourself and you want to be that agent that, I've talked to folks, right? I want to be an agent that closes 100 deals with no team, no this, no that. But do you know what that looks like?
Miserable Life 101.
Well, on top of that, right? It's brutal, right? It will require you to work around the clock, like hashtag team no sleep, and so much that comes with it.
Yeah.
And you have to start there. You have to start with whatever or wherever I want to be in the next year or 2 or 5. Let me do the math and do it backwards a little bit and identify what person do I have to become to get those results.
Yeah.
And be true to yourself. So then later on, you're not beating yourself up because you're not closing 100 deals without a team or whatever your goal may be. And make sure that you're aligning with it. And I think that was one of the conversations. I've had to have that conversation with myself multiple times, right? When I'm sitting there in my creative space and being super ambitious about how I want to do end my year. And I think this year, if I'm being fully honest, this year was the first year that I told myself, yeah, there's no way. I can get there production wise. I can make the connections. I can have the relationships, but I know what version of Maggie is going to have to come up. And I don't think I can afford that version right now. Right. I think I want
for your family
different.
too.
Of course. Jerry,
For your yeah.
I'm a wife. I have friends and I've done it. Right. I've done it because I know I like to know that I can. But this year, I was very honest with myself and I said, no, let's bring that down and let's make sure that everything in your life is going to match that goal and that you're going to be in harmony with that goal. Because we know there's no such thing as work-life balance as an entrepreneur, period.
Yeah.
But I know, tell me about, recently.
If you allow me to just kind of mention something on that. Like that preparation or obviously we live in a world of social media and image and whatever fake, whatever
mirrors, right?
Yeah, exactly. Mirrors. I like that. So we just have to reinvent yourself, to have goals. You just have to do the research and really understand. I like how you said that. Really understand who I need to become to do that. And then would I be fully happy, fulfilled? Is that really what I want? Or I just want the end result? If I want the end result, but I don't want to do what it takes, then I need to come to a decision.
To do it, right? Maybe you need to work on other areas of yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. Because maybe, as you said, you're a mom, you're a wife, your kids are only going to be this young for a while. So you might want to say, you know what, I'm going to sell 2 less houses, but I'm going to be a lot closer. I'm going to have more meaningful conversations, not just a quick dinner time with my kids, but I'm going to sit down for a little longer and I'm going to have these conversations. And then you start feeling like that cup is fulfilling too. Mm-hmm. And so it comes with that reinvention. What makes you happy? What makes you chase? What is this chase? We're talking about that yesterday. Like this chase in this career of ours, it just goes by fast. And sometimes we just keep on chasing.
Yeah.
But we don't stop.
I can chasing butterflies.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, in the beginning of my career, maybe like about a year and a half in, I was having a conversation with a lady that I actually admire a lot. We, our paths went in a different direction, but I really admire her because I saw in her so many qualities that, I aspire to have. And I don't think I understood it then as much as I understand it now. Because I love the thrill that comes with a business. Like for me, I love the very basics of what we do, which is touching families, having those conversations, being able to show somebody that they can do it, right? In my world as a lender is just getting somebody pre-approved and saying, yeah, let's do it. We're gonna get you there.
You can go shopping.
You can go shopping now. But at one point she said to me, and she recommended me a book, and it's slipping out of my mind right now. I'm going to do my research to figure out that title, to remember that title. She recommended a book to me that I did read. It was a very small book. And she said, Maggie, you have to be patient. And my initial response to that was, well, I just know that I can do it faster because I know that I can. And she said, there's no doubt in my mind that you're going to get there, but at the cost of what? And at that time, I felt like she didn't understand where my drive was coming from. I didn't realize that I felt like she didn't understand my hunger, my struggle, what I had to overcome. I felt that she was in a very different position than I was in. And that's why she didn't get it. And it's crazy because I find myself having that conversation now with my loan officers, right? Because on the daily, I help mentor the loan officers that work side by side with me. And I find myself telling them to be patient all the time, right? So it's crazy how as time passes, you give words a different meaning.
Yeah. It's the maturity of the business too. Is it the maturity that comes with
your understanding,
experience
right?
and yeah, the consistent work, but be patient. And now when I look at the new agents that join our companies or any new agents that we get to meet, I see myself, I'm like, yeah, they're just like, yeah, they just want to do all these open houses, all these things. I'm running around. I'll do it. I'll go to Rockford, from Rockford to Peoria and whatever. Like I can do it all. And I'm like, yeah, I had that. I still hold it on many times. And that's why, sometimes I struggle because I really want to continue doing certain things like that. But at the same time, it's like, it burns you. When you do it with your 100% hard dedication, you sacrifice so much of your family time and all. There's no work-life balance. I guess at some point you choose more of your career and developing and kind of going with that drive. But then as you reinvent yourself, you're like, wait, this version of me or who I want to become and what I want to do or what I want to prioritize now, it might not be necessarily driving from Rockford to Peoria. It might be, you know what? I'm going to connect you with a local agent in those areas. I'm going to take the time to interview that agent to make sure that they will do things kind of like I would do them, to make sure that they take good care of you. And that evening, I'm going to see a friend because I need to reconnect with my friends. Yeah. Or, so that's part of the maturity in the business and reinventing to, at the end of the day, we continue evolving in our days, in our lives, we're only here once. And I know you mentioned this many times, hashtag leave a little on. But yeah, like it's just the reinventing yourself. It's the constant research of what drives you, what makes you happy, what you can do next. There's so many other things outside real estate that you might be great at too. Yeah. And
you know what? We keep using the word drive, right? And being driven.
Yeah.
And I recently, so one of the things that I encourage everybody to do is to always invest in your growth and in your learning.
Yeah.
In any endeavor. And see, there you go. That's that ESL in me. In any business that you have,
Endeavor.
endeavor. In any business that you have that you're starting, there's three things that you must have, and one of them, or that must become good at. One of them is sales, because you have to sell what you offer.
Yeah.
You need to learn how to build, whether it is a product, a service,
A brand.
a team. You need to know how to build, and you need to know how to lead. And if I could, give anybody any advice, is work around these three things.
But all of them come with a different skill set.
Absolutely. And I think that the main point I'm trying to make here is that I recently, in my own journey of self-development, I do coaching. I think I take coaching very serious. I think it's helped me a lot, especially because, like most of us, I chose this career, or it chose me by accident.
Yeah.
And, I learned hands-on, on the go, full of drive, full of hunger. And about 2 years into my lending career, I was introduced to just the concept of coaching. And I didn't want to do it in the beginning. And I was the shittiest student. I think I still am a little bit of a bad student. I hope my coach doesn't hear this, because he'll probably call me out. I have a hard time being a good student. I am working on it. But I think coaching is very important. Let's say that. In one of my lessons with my coach, he mentioned, what kind of person do you want to be, right? Do you want to be drifting? Do you want to drift in this business? Which we all know. You could think.
Drift?
So drift is kind of like, when the wind just takes you, right? You just go with the flow. You run this way, you run that way. And I'll be honest, as a lender, I work with a lot of real estate agents. And of course, I know a lot of actual, peers in the business. And you see a lot of people that are just drifting, right? That they're just they wake up that day and they wing it, and they decide, today I'm going to do, calls. Tomorrow I'm going to go to the gym. And then the next day I'm going to beat myself up because I don't have clients. And, they're drifting through life, period. And then on top of that, they're drifting through their business. And then you have those folks that are driven. You're driven. I'm driven. A lot of you are very driven. A lot of you guys know what you want. You have the hunger. You have the passion. But I think that, and I can probably say for you as well, right now, in the stage where I want to be directed, right? I don't want to be driven, because drive will eventually burn you out. I want to be directed. And I think that we all probably we all should want to be directed. We want to be intentional about what we're doing. And going back to those three categories that I mentioned earlier, is you have to learn to invest in yourself. At the end of the day, you're going to the biggest asset that we all have is time. And I'm sure you've heard multiple times when people say, like, hey, if that guy has 24 hours in the day and you have 24 hours in the day, you could do it too. Which, correct, you have the same amount of time. However, what you get out of your time is a direct correlation with your skill sets. So,
And your habits.
and your habits, but mostly your skills. Why do I say this? Which, in order to form skills, you need habits, right? But I mentioned this because, take an example, something very basic, right? Cold calling. If I take the time to invest in myself and do some training, some scripting, I practice, and I become very good at cold calling because I've invested time into it, and I've added value to what I can do in an hour of cold calling versus what somebody that's a rookie and it's the first time they pick up the phone, or they're winging it all the time.
Practice on the actual
They practice on the call. Well, they're winging it, which, practice is part of all of it, right? But they're winging it. They're just kind of like, I'm going to make calls. They're not being intentional. They're not being directed. So at the end of the day, when we get on the phone, I'm going to be able to have more success because I'm skilled, because I trained, because I took a course, because I don't know, I did, university YouTube or YouTube University, whatever you call it. So you have to spend time building your skills so that at the end of the day, your hours are going to be much more valuable than the hours that somebody has that it's not skilled and it's not trained.
But that's also a choice,
Oh, of course.
right? So if you choose to invest in yourself, in your skill set, to learn further, to develop your skills, to become great at that one task, or that's a choice you made.
Yeah.
Everybody has choice. If you don't choose anything, you are already making a choice of not wanting to invest in yourself or in that skill set that you want to develop, or in that class, or in that speaking class, if we're in whatever sales you said, cold calling, right? You were not investing. You chose not to invest in that. And in today's world, with everything is in our fingertips, yeah, you might not have $3,000 X program to pay per month, but there's so much out there to actually improve in any skill set.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
a choice.
So for
that
you,
make.
what has been some of the biggest impact when it has come to maybe your self-development, or your, those times that you have found yourself having to reinvent yourself?
I can look back to 2020. I did have a kind of a moment of reinvention then. We all did with COVID and how we had to do things, and the other set of gloves for each showing, and the mask for each client you meet, and Zoom consultations. We all adapted. That was a reinvention that we did. But I also, at the same time, even though being extremely busy and blessed with business, I still took the time to work on me. And I remember reading, and this is a very easy read, The Miracle Morning, where it tells you about the lifesavers, from reading, exercising, silent time, affirmations, that meditation, that scribing or journaling. So those are the lifesavers. And I took the time and I was very, very diligent. And I can say for about 2 years, from 2020 to 2022, I was very religious with it. When my walks were in, my reading, I was never a reader. Became a reader in 2020. And by the end of the year, I had read 24 books. And now it's not about how speed reading or how much you read, or because sometimes you can go through books and still not getting something out of it, or just for the sake of reading, who is reading what, let me read what you're reading, and it might apply or not to you where you're at right now. But at that time, I had no foundation on the reading part. So I started with actually Self-Made with Nelly Galan's book, and then started kind of adding to it. Well, Miracle Morning was my first book. That taught me to read. And then I went to my first real book, which was the Nelly Galan Self-Made. And as an immigrant, kind of got my attention. And then this $1 million listing, and then, Reach Dad, Poor Dad, and all of these other books that came along. Ryan Serhant books, phenomenal too. I realized that there was so much more that I could learn and apply to my business, but also to my life, to develop as a leader. I started kind of being interested in getting involved within different organizations and within the industry, because I realized that relationships is really the currency in this business. So I knew that I wanted to connect with more people, not just clients and potential consumers, but also within the organizations, so within the industry. I wanted to learn from other peers, and also not just learning on what skills they have, but to connect on a deeper level, build more meaningful relationships, and have those tough conversations, because at home, we're not as understood. Even if it's just talking about an appraisal gap issue, or it's just not something I'm going to take home. It's just not the conversation I want to take home. So, but if I can call you and we can talk in that lingo, and I feel supported, then I'm going to smile again. within an hour, within 5 minutes, and I'm going to go back and work harder. So I knew that community, and that's kind of responding to your question of what I did to develop as a better professional leader. It's, yeah, my reading, my being very consistent with my exercise, my eating was very, very clean too. And I was just very just focused. And then the community, like the collaborative spirit of us in the industry. And now more than ever, those are going to pay off, those relationships. So, yeah, a whole lot of that. And being a better listener too. I started practicing that. And then I chose that I wanted to be a better speaker, that I wanted to be able to express myself in English a lot better. So I took some public speaking classes over Zoom with Second City in Canada, and took a few other things to just formal writing, to be able to write better emails. So whatever you feel sometimes that you're kind of slacking, I guess, or you know what, I received this offer package by someone else. I'm the least inside. Dude, I like how this is presented. Let me work and make it my own. Let me see what I can do better, because if this person is writing this beautifully, I want to do this too. But I'm not going to copy and paste it. I'm going to learn how to do this for me, what works for me, for my brand, for the way I talk. So just a lot of research, a lot of preparation, and kind of extended myself in the response. But it was just like, I just focus on what I needed to work on, that skill set, and it's paid dividends after that.
Oh, and I've seen her in action, and she's great. She's great on stage. She's a great communicator. She's a great connector. I don't think I know anybody in this world that pays as much attention to detail as Ainhoa does.
Want to see my nails?
Oh, she wants to show off her nails. Check them out. She actually made that request, by the way, when she walked in. Where are you today, Ainhoa? Where are you? Like, if tell us, if we could have an insight as to where is your growth taking you today? What is the next step for you in terms of becoming a better you in your life? Where are you? You want to share with us a little bit?
Yes. You didn't tell me you were going to ask me this, but I'll share some. I have been without breaks for a long time. And sometimes we find in our jobs kind of like an outlet to consume ourselves with work. We love what we do. Mm-hmm. The more we do, the more it comes. The more we get for clients, the more referrals they come, and you want to do it all. But then you end up forgetting a whole lot about you on the personal side, your own relationships at home and outside with friends, different trips, different hobbies that I had before. And I want to, and that's my goal, I want to also heal, but won't leave it there. I want to, because I feel like I'm a little stuck, and to be able to actually do better at work and continue to grow in my leadership journey, whatever that takes me. I'm not going to be a comedian. I told you that. Take it out. I do want to spend some time on those things that I like doing. But I know that by spending that time and we all know the theory. We all know that going back to that 2020, they're reading the exercise and the nutrition, the not skipping meals, the drinking enough water, connecting with this person and the other person, filling up your cup too. You will do better in business anyway by building you.
But you know what? This is a challenge, right?
Very.
In this, for those of you that are in the industry, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I used to always tell my team, I'm like, this business will show the real you so quick, because because it is a very hyper connected industry. You're talking to the clients, emotions. I mean, I think I'm not a real estate agent, but I have a high respect for real estate agents, because I feel in my world, from my point of view, what they do is literally just make sure that nobody loses their shit. Essentially, if it's the client, if it's attorney, if it's the other agent, if it's the clerk at the village, I mean, it could be literally anyone. So they do a lot of damage control. It's a lot of damage control in real estate.
Yeah.
And when you're connecting with people, you're bound to get triggered. You're bound to your buttons to get pushed, and you start showing these little sides of you that you haven't worked on. And it comes from the roots, right? It can come from, I mean, for most of us, it's our upbringing, but it might just come from like a little space in you where, that it's not worked on. And I think that the best producers that I've seen is because they've done a lot of that healing, a lot of that looking inwards and adjusting all of those little nuts that need to be adjusted to just be a better person. Right? You're with people all day. People can see through you. You can't cheat people out of your authentic self, because
you can give people what you don't have.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, exactly. Right. So if they're,
so it's not like you're a bad person.
No, not at all.
Or you're not a good person enough. It's like your cup is so empty.
You can, right?
At times that you don't have that emotionally intelligent. You're not that sharp right now emotionally, socially. You can't. We take everybody's problems.
But you just said it. That is the work that needs to be done. And I really, truly believe that in this business, in order for you to scale, you have to lead. And in order for you to lead, you have to heal.
Yeah.
You can't be here and inspire and motivate and attract when you have all of this turmoil going on, right? And I think for somebody that's done coaching, I feel like this is a huge part that sometimes is being missed. And I would love to start seeing, take a note for all of those of you that, that have that in their business, in the real estate business, they do this coaching. It's some of that inner talk that, we can sit here all day and talk about how I have to make these calls and go to these events and connect with people and praise them and thank them and show gratitude and all the 9 yards. But how can you do this when inside you're not okay? And
you know how I translate that? Everybody see you winning, but your winning feels like a failure.
Yeah.
My winning at times, it feels like I'm failing, even though on paper,
right,
it could be considered winning. But your perspective, everything is a matter of perspective too. Your perspective is fed by how you feel on the inside and how many of these things you need to heal or work on. So your perspective is blurry.
Yeah. No, I have tea for you. I'll tell you later. But
switch off the camera.
Some of that tea is, when I'm a giver. I'm naturally a giver. Like,
yes, I have a gift over there.
She got a gift today. I love making people feel good. I love it. I'm the oldest sister, probably comes from that. My mom, my stepdad passed away, and my mom was left with 5 kids, and I became like the second parent. So I think a little bit of it's that natural, guarding and to the role. And I just love loving on people. I really, truly do. When I say this, people sometimes cringe because they're like, no, you don't love. I'm like, I do. I really love people. I see beauty in everyone. And when I first got into this industry, that's what I loved about it the most, right? Because I get as a lender, I work with multiple referral partners, and, you grow friendship. But one of the things that lately I've came to realize is that I was so driven by, what it meant for business to have these relationships. And in the last probably like 6 to 8 months, and I love it. I literally stopped and I was like, wait a second. I don't even like how ungrateful this person is. Right? I don't even like how this person addresses their team. I I need to change. I need to have more faith that I'm going to attract people that are like me, that are truly going to value me and want to do for me as much as I want to do for them. And it took we hear it all the time. And it's easy when you talk about others doing it or even you doing it, but to actually do it,
That's great.
it felt great, but it was painful. It was challenging because I had to learn to let go a lot.
That's very hard.
And it's very hard. And I've been doing well so far. And not to say that I am, it's never coming from a place of, someone's not good enough for me or I'm too good for someone. No, it's just what feels good and what doesn't feel good. And in this business, sometimes you get stuck doing a lot of things that don't feel good because you think you have to do it that way because that's the only way of doing it. You end up being in rooms and in events and shaking hands and interacting with people. Shit, I've paid fucking meals for people over and over again that probably don't even like me. And it was such a big moment for me to be okay with saying, you know what? Peace. I'm straight. What do you think you need to do today to get to that next version of yourself where you want to go, where you want to be?
Therapy. Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah,
Therapy.
I'm gonna give myself the chance to do that. Whatever that looks like. I don't know exactly what therapy approach or what. Yeah, I don't know yet, but yeah, I'm gonna do that investment of therapy, and maybe I learn how to meditate, and for the future. I know, and this was a conversation I had with these. I'm part of the Leadership Accelerator program with the Chicago Association of Realtors, and we had an activity today, and I kind of felt conflicted after we were done. It's still my feelings. I said in a question that my faith is on hold, whatever faith means, and I know yours, but whatever faith end up meaning to me, I do need to come to peace with that, and maybe not being on hold. It's been on hold for many years, so I think I would invest in therapy, go back to dance regularly, and reconsider these whole placement that I have done to faith, even if it's to take the hold off and be completely done with it and not consider, or exploring something, which I don't know, but that's probably.
I can't wait to see where that takes her.
Maybe I'm gonna be touring the world with a little backpack and a little cat, going to Bali and become Buddha and shave my head. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, if it makes you happy, right? You only live once.
Yeah.
And I think that
I don't want to be a comedian, though. Did it say that?
she says she wants to be a comedian because then she's like, don't I make you laugh? She do make me laugh a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll share you on, girl. I'll be there to support you.
Please do. Please do.
I
have
got
a
you.
story or two, maybe a seasonal comedian, meaning for like a short period of time. Yeah, I need to try it. What if I become famous, though?
Please do, and hook your girl up.
What am I gonna do about it?
I thank you for sharing that. And I
How
mean,
about you, though?
what my future is.
What are you gonna tell to the Maggie from 5 years from now? What are you investing now?
Yeah, that she's gonna be super proud that I did because it's gonna pay 10 times fold.
Buy another house in Michigan.
Perhaps. I mean, it's in there. I think that the investment that I need to make, that I continue to find a million excuses to not follow through with, is probably consistent exercise. If I'm being fully honest, I think
It looks to me that you've been very consistent.
I have. I've been consistent, but you know what? I over the last couple of months, I haven't been able to work out as much as I was prior to that. I was doing really well, but I've never been. You know what? I'm not even gonna lie. I've never been consistent with exercise.
The abs.
I want that. Not the abs. Now I want the mental clarity. I've actually, one of the tricks in this business, and it happens to absolutely everyone that I know, is this business gives you like a kind of high every time you have, you lock in, whether it is a good conversation, a sale, a closing, you name it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of addicting. And if you become good at it, it becomes more addicting because it just makes you feel like you're winning. And then you will find yourself hiding at work because you're so good at work. Why would you go into any other space in your life where you're not winning, right? It's a good way to honestly avoid reality sometimes. And it's very easy to become a workaholic in this industry. Yeah. I've done it. I've been there. I think I'm a little bit more balanced now because I kind of learned the hard way, right?
You're prioritizing family and other things in your life.
Remember that little thing you said earlier where it burns you or you see the light? Well, I got burned, and I got burned in many, many different ways. I got burned in my relationship with my kids. I got burned in my relationship with my husband. I got burned with my health. I mean, I think my first year of lending, I think I gained like 40 pounds. And then I developed high blood pressure, which is now with me for life. And all of this came from burying myself at work because I'm so fucking good at it. I'm so good at it. Sorry, I cursed. And then I cursed. That's the other thing.
I usually need to work on that.
I'm okay. A little cursing.
You know what some people say about that? I guess when I do that, someone else tells me, well, you don't have enough fucking
vocabulary.
Thank you.
I have a vocabulary.
I know you do. So you're choosing.
I'm choosing to curse because it feels good to curse sometimes.
In this industry, I gotta say.
Did you get better at cursing? A lot. But yeah. Anyways, I lost a lot. And I buried myself at work, and I realized that, I mean, I don't know that I want to be in this space. I mean, I love what I do, but there's more dimensions to me.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to live life a little. And I'm still want to grow. I still want to challenge myself. I have goals, but my goals look different now. It's more aligned with helping others. It's more in line with welcoming more people to the industry, making a difference. And I mean, I'm in a very happy place. Can I be better? Yes. Do I want to earn more? Absolutely, because why not? But I want to be. I will say that sometimes when you start making more money than you ever thought you could make, and that number might look different for everyone, you get stuck in the little bit of the status game, and not necessarily the car, the purses. No, I'm not even talking about that kind of status. It's like you almost put this, you put yourself in this place where you kind of have to stay there, right? And I do not want to be playing the status. I want to be wealthy in every way that one can be wealthy, including health, right?
Most important.
Health is wealth. So I think that I want to prioritize my health and my mental clarity above everything else, and understand that all the good things that, for me, God has coming, they're going to come when time is due. I've learned that growth, you can't force growth, right? You take a plant, you can't pull a plant up and pull leaves out of it.
I like that.
Growth.
I mean, the metaphor.
Yeah, growth happens on its own with
you have to
light.
You have to water it.
Water. Like my mom, she talks to her plants. She wanted us to sing happy birthday to her plant because it was growing a new leaf when I went to Mexico. So it's the environment that plant is in.
Yeah.
That's in the love it receives and the support. And I learned that now. And I learned
Does
to
she
be
have names
patient.
for her plants?
We didn't talk about the names. There's a lot of plants. I didn't want to go there.
No.
I
have
was
names
only
for my plants.
You do. We have names for our plant here. You guys can see her. And
What's her name? She was half dead once.
Yeah,
Half dead once.
she was half dead. She dies a lot, and then she comes back.
Yeah.
And
We have a half sister in our office.
Javi,
She's dead every other week.
really? Javi, Javi, one of my loan officers. Shout out to Javi. He's awesome. He has a green thumb, and literally, if he waters her, she comes back. And her name,
flowers.
her name is Mercedes.
Okay.
And the
Mercedes.
nickname is Meche. And sometimes she's Mercedes, sometimes she's Meche. But she's doing great, and she's trying, she gets a lot of attention. I brought her from home. She was definitely going to die in my house.
Oh, she was dead.
Yeah, she was practically non-existing anymore. Oh, poor thing. But now she's doing amazing. And just like Meche, we all have to put ourselves in a place of growth.
Yeah.
Where people around us
and change locations if needed.
Yeah, we move her from that corner to this corner to that corner, like consistently.
Until she's blooming.
Yes. And now she has
With the right amount of energy and
I
sun.
did not notice. She actually had no flowers. Now she has a couple. She has like 5. Okay,
Yeah.
girl.
You go,
6.
girl.
Yeah, she got 6.
Go, Merchi.
Yeah, go Meche.
Well, we say Merchi.
Merchi?
Tengo una prima. What? Sorry. I have a cousin. And
We Spanglish. We Spanglish here.
yeah.
We curse and we're Spanglish here.
Yep. So se llama Mercedes y we call her Merchi.
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 Okay, well, Merchi it is.
Yeah. But that, if we're wrapping it up, I actually think that was a great metaphor to kind of sum it up.
Yeah.
That to reinvent yourself, it's okay to change a space. It's okay to change whatever's not working. Find the right
soil, everything.
the right coaching, or the right watering, or the right information, classes, books, sun, placement, care by Javi. Yeah, I think it's pretty great. And reinventing yourself means you are alive and you're making the choice to work on something that is not working or doesn't fulfill that life that we have, that is gift. So I think we should just drop the mic now.
Well, any last thoughts, or that was your last thought?
No, I have another thought.
Okay. I knew there was something more in there.
What's your favorite book?
For me? Mm-hmm. The Bible.
Okay.
That's my favorite book.
Very good book. It's been now for a while.
I can show you how to read it, because most people read it incorrectly, by the way.
Okay, well, we can do some Bible class another day.
We could just call it reading classes.
Okay.
I feel like that in itself is
No, like
step one.
smile apart. I just didn't expect you to say that. But smiles apart, I do agree that it's a well-written book, and there are a lot of lessons, whether you're religious or not. Yeah, I do think it's a good book. And well, I'll share one that I like. Is Never Split the Difference. By Chris Voss. It's phenomenal. This is an ex-FBI agent that specialized in international kidnapping and negotiation with the kidnappers. So phenomenal book. It's a master class. So if you're looking to reinvent yourself and become a better negotiator, you could do that.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Now we can.
Thank you. Thank you for coming today. Thank you for doing this with me. And
Best of luck with your next episode.
I can't wait to touch base. I want to see where you are in 6 months, 12 months. And I wish you the best. And put all your whole heart into that investment of yours. Because your future self will thank you.
Thank you so much, Maggie. You're welcome.